Alright. The name is Dale. Gonna give you a double dose, a 2-for-1 album review of Conway the Machine. The first album that I'm going to review is called If It Bleeds, It Can Be Killed. That's a collaboration album Conway the Machine did with this producer named Big Ghost. And then the next one I'm going to do is another Conway the Machine album called Maquina. And these album reviews are done on behalf of Audio Liquor Magazine, should I say. And these Griselda dudes have been putting in work. They constantly putting out new material, whether it be an album, EP, mixtape, whatever. It's like every 4 to 5 months they drop. And Conway has been really putting in work the last year and 4 or 5 months since 2020. He has like 4 albums and 1 EP within that time span. And he just dropped, first he started off the year doing an EP with The Alchemist called Lulu. And then somewhere in 2020 I just found out that he actually did another album with Big Ghost last year that fell under the radar, that slipped by me, that I never heard of. So I might definitely have to check that out, being that I'm digging this new album. Well, it's not really new. Well, it's new, but it came out in February of this year with Big Ghost. So I'm definitely going to have to check that out. Then he dropped the album that I did a review for last year called From a King to a God, which is a very strong album. And then earlier this year, the album that I'm about to review, If It Bleeds, It Can Be Killed, with Big Ghost. And he has like 2 solo studio albums, 4 collabo albums. He has the 2 group albums with Griselda and a shitload of mixtapes through his career. I think he came on the scene like 2012 or 13, but he was very underground at that time. But just in the last, I would say, 3 to 4 years, his name and the Griselda name really has been getting traction, getting the buzz. People are becoming more and more aware of them and their music. So If It Bleeds, It Can Be Killed is totally produced by Big Ghost Ltd. I never heard the guy, wasn't familiar with his work before listening to this album. I'm not going to go into detail with every song, because like I'm doing 2 album reviews, and that would be almost 20 songs that I'll be having to go into detail about, and that can be like an hour, and I'm not going to go that long. So I'm just going to go through this joint real fast with my review and synopsis and how I interpret the album as a whole, both albums as a whole. So I like every song on If It Bleeds, It Can Be Killed, with the exception of the first track, which is just someone talking. It's more like an intro, but other than that, after that, you can push play and just let it ride. The production is straight ugly face music. This is that hardcore street shit with lyricism. This joint is just straight, like, gritty, traditional, New York sounding hip-hop with a new flair. I really like this album. He has a few features from some folks that I had never heard of, but who do they think? They impress me. Like, he has one song that's featuring this guy named Shots called Way We Move. And then he has another track featuring this guy named Roam the Streets. That's his name, Roam the Streets. It's spelled like the city of Rome and then streets. And the name of that joint is called Kill All the Rats. And that song also features Ransom. Now I've heard of Ransom. but this guy named Roam the Streets, I never heard of him. Then he got another track featuring this guy named Knowledge the Pirate. That's an odd name. And the name of that song is called Sons of Kings. So it's 10 tracks total. It has a few songs have cuts and scratches on there, which I found refreshing. You don't hear that too much. That made my hip hop heart smile. I was like, oh, they got a little cutting and scratching on the joints. I like that. And with his style and voice, it's just things just come together on this joint. So I dig it. It's this real strong album. Real strong album. I give it a B plus, a strong B plus. And I'm getting to his next album called Maquina. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm probably not, but that's Spanish for machine. Now, unlike If It Bleeds It Kills, who just has one producer doing all the production, this has many different producers doing the production, such as The Alchemist, Bangladesh, Derringer, Don Cannon, J.R. Swifts, Motif Alumni, Murder Beats, etc. Has a gang of different producers on it. I'm not going to go into who produced what song. I'm not going to go into detail like that. But there were only 2 songs that I didn't care for, and those 2 songs were not bad at all. I just felt they were just okay, you know. It really didn't have me to want to listen to them each time that I listened to the album. It's 11 tracks total. The only reason I can't get totally into one of the songs, and that song was called S.E. Gang, was due to West Side Gun. And this is nothing against West Side Gun. I like how he's put this together. He's sort of the brains of Griselda. He's the one that's kind of like making the business moves and promoting them and putting them out there. He puts out albums as well. I just can't get into his style and his voice. His voice and his style doesn't appeal to me. The high pitched voice and his rhyming I just can't get with it. But other than that, tracks 1 through 9, I dig. Push play and let it ride. He has a song called 200 Pies featuring 2 Chainz. That's pretty good. I like that. That joint is nice. He has another track called Scatterbrain featuring Ludacris. I ain't heard Ludacris rap in a while. And the song bangs. Conway, on this album, he's playing with a lot of different styles. I guess that's due to the variety of different producers. So he's playing with a lot of different styles on his joint, but at the same time, he's still able to stay true to himself. He doesn't get too outside of himself, you know, that would turn his fan base off. So this album, should I say, this album is not as strong as If It Bleeds It Kills, but Maquina, I will still give it a B minus. Not a B minus, a B plus. But it's like on the lower end of a B plus. Whereas If It Bleeds It Can Be Killed, it's on the higher end of a B plus, like more closer to an A minus. But I highly recommend you get these joints if you haven't heard them. Download them, stream them, listen to them, whatever. And I heard an interview recently with Big Daddy Kane on the Breakfast Club, and they was asking, can New York come back? Can New York regain its supremacy over hip hop? And he was saying, in order for that to happen, Big Daddy Kane was saying, the legendary Big Daddy Kane, he was saying that we will have to find I'm not from New York. New York will have to find its identity again. And I think these guys, Griselda, are the ones that's keeping and bringing that traditional New York sound, whereas some of the other new New York cats are kind of imitating dudes from the South. That's what Big Daddy Kane was saying. But these Griselda guys, they are putting in work. They got the boom bap, but it's updated. It doesn't sound like old 90s shit. It has that same feel, but it has a new flavor to it, a new vibe to it. So these guys are keeping New York alive, even though they're not from New York City. They from up north New York, Buffalo, of all places. So that's it. I'm done. I'm finished. And there you have it.